Look around you. Take a moment to truly observe the state of our modern world. It feels different, doesn't it? A pervasive sense of unease, a constant hum of uncertainty, a gnawing anxiety that seems to cling to daily headlines. We witness conflicts escalating, natural disasters striking with increasing intensity, and the very fabric of society appearing to fray at the edges. Morality often seems fluid, truth itself is questioned, and loneliness, ironically, thrives in a hyper-connected age. In the midst of this turbulent landscape, humanity yearns for answers, for guidance, for a steadfast light in what often feels like a growing darkness. We search for meaning, for purpose, for something eternal to anchor our fleeting lives. Throughout history, in moments of profound change and challenge, God has often raised up powerful voices, granting saints and mystics extraordinary glimpses into the future. These divine visions serve as both solemn warnings and radiant beacons of hope, guiding humanity through its most perilous passages. Among these prophetic figures, one individual stands out, a man whose entire life was a living testament to profound suffering, ceaseless prayer, and unparalleled spiritual insight. Saint Padre Pio of Pietrelcina. But beyond the well-known stories of his stigmata, his countless miracles, and his supernatural gifts, Padre Pio left us with something even more profound and urgent, a hidden prophecy, a crucial message directly relevant for our troubled times. This is a warning you need to hear, and more importantly, it offers a clear, divinely inspired path to navigate the intense spiritual storms that lie ahead. Born Francesco Forgione in 1887 in the humble town of Pietrelcina, Italy, Padre Pio's life was marked by extraordinary supernatural phenomena from his earliest years. Even as a child, he experienced visions of Jesus and Mary, and engaged in spiritual battles with demonic forces. From the moment of his ordination as a Capuchin priest, his spiritual gifts intensified dramatically. He became the first stigmatist priest in the history of the Church, bearing the visible wounds of Christ's passion for over 50 years. Thousands upon thousands flocked to him from every corner of the globe, seeking his spiritual direction, miraculous healings, the solace of his confessional, and simply a tangible glimpse of the divine presence he so profoundly embodied. Padre Pio possessed an array of incredible spiritual charisms, the gift of bilocation, allowing him to be in two places at once, the ability to read souls, knowing the deepest thoughts and sins of those who approached him, and, crucially for our discussion, the profound gift of prophecy. He saw beyond the material veil, understanding with chilling clarity the spiritual battles silently raging around us and within us. Often, he spoke in cryptic, yet profoundly insightful, terms about the future state of humanity and the destiny of the Church. While many of his prophetic utterances were personal, concerning individuals or specific, localized events, there emerges a powerful, recurring theme in his broader spiritual insights, a deep-seated understanding and sorrow over the overarching challenges humanity would face, particularly in an era characterized by a pervasive decline in faith and a disturbing increase in moral confusion and societal fragmentation. His insights were not merely predictions. They were reflections of a soul intimately connected with God's will and deeply concerned for the salvation of humanity. The hidden prophecy we speak of is not about a single, sudden, cataclysmic global event, easily identifiable by a date on a calendar. Instead, it speaks to something far more insidious and pervasive, a gradual, yet relentless, erosion of spiritual foundations, a chilling coldness that would slowly, almost imperceptibly, envelop human hearts and minds. Padre Pio foresaw a time when the very essence of faith would be tested like never before, not primarily through overt, violent persecution from external forces, but through an inner, creeping spiritual apathy and indifference. He spoke with immense sorrow of a world where men would become wolves, a metaphor for increasing self-interest, hostility, and a lack of charity towards one another. He lamented how the fervent love of God and neighbor would grow cold in many souls, replaced by a consuming materialism and a relentless pursuit of worldly pleasures. He foresaw an age where the very concept of objective truth would be distorted, where moral relativism would reign supreme, making it increasingly difficult for souls to discern right from wrong, good from evil. While specific, direct quotes outlining this grand prophecy are rare, Padre Pio often communicated through spiritual direction, actions, and his deep suffering. Those closest to him, his spiritual directors, and his Capuchin brothers, consistently recounted his profound and recurring sorrow over the future spiritual state of humanity. He warned that the true danger would not be a sudden, dramatic collapse, but a slow, subtle spiritual decay, like a quiet fire that consumes wood from the inside out, leaving only a hollow shell. His intense focus on prayer, penance, and the sacraments was not merely pious exhortation. It was a divinely inspired prescription against this very spiritual sickness he so clearly foresaw. He understood that the greatest tragedy would be for people to lose their way, not because they were actively evil, but because they had simply forgotten God, slowly drifting away from his love and grace. This hidden prophecy, then, serves as a powerful call to awaken, to recognize the profound spiritual battle being waged for the very souls of men and women, and to comprehend its subtle, yet devastating, nature. With the insights of Padre Pio's hidden prophecy firmly in mind, let us turn our gaze to the world around us. Are we not, in many ways, living in the very fulfillment of his profound spiritual concerns? Consider the widespread epidemic of anxiety, depression, and mental health crises, even amidst unprecedented material abundance. There is a deep, existential search for meaning, often misdirected towards fleeting pleasures, transient experiences, or superficial achievements. We observe a disturbing fragmentation of truth in public discourse, where objective reality is often replaced by subjective narratives, and moral consensus seems to vanish. The breakdown of traditional family structures, the increasing rates of loneliness in technologically saturated societies, and a pervasive decline in religious practice across many parts of the globe. These are all profound symptoms of a deeper spiritual malaise. The very fabric of society, once woven with strong threads of shared moral values, community bonds, and a transcendent purpose, now seems to be unraveling at an alarming rate. Padre Pio, with his profound spiritual sight, understood with divine clarity that when humanity collectively turns its back on its Creator, it inevitably begins to turn upon itself. His relentless tears, his agonizing suffering, his ceaseless prayers, these were not merely for the individuals he encountered in his confessional or his daily life. They were profoundly offered for the generations to come, for us, who would face these unprecedented spiritual challenges. He knew the insidious spiritual dangers lurking in the shadows, the subtle temptations that would lead countless souls astray, not through grand apostasy, but through slow, indifferent drifting. This sobering reflection on the signs of our times is not meant to paralyze us with fear or despair. Instead, it serves as a powerful exercise in spiritual discernment. It is about recognizing the spiritual landscape of our era through the piercing, divinely illuminated lens of a saint who saw with supernatural clarity, urging us to recognize the urgency of our spiritual condition. Crucially, Padre Pio's profound vision was not merely a warning without a solution. His entire life, his teachings, and his immense suffering were, in themselves, a profound call to action, a divinely provided roadmap for navigating these turbulent and challenging times. His very existence was the remedy to the spiritual sickness he foresaw. He tirelessly emphasized and embodied the timeless spiritual practices that remain our most potent weapons in this unseen spiritual battle. He particularly stressed fervent prayer. Padre Pio famously declared, "Pray, hope, and don't worry." He taught that constant, humble, and fervent prayer is not just a pious exercise, but a vital lifeline, a spiritual shield against evil, and an inexhaustible source of divine strength. He especially advocated for the daily recitation of the Holy Rosary, calling it the weapon, understanding its power to combat spiritual desolation and foster intimacy with God. Prayer, for Padre Pio, was the breath of the soul, essential for spiritual survival. Frequent sacraments. He tirelessly urged souls to receive the sacraments frequently, particularly the sacrament of reconciliation, or confession, and the Holy Eucharist. He called confession the soul's bath, emphasizing its power to cleanse, purify, and restore grace, providing healing for spiritual wounds. Holy Communion, for him, was the very nourishment of the soul, the indispensable bread of life that strengthens us against temptation and unites us intimately with Christ. These sacraments, he taught, are not mere rituals, but encounters with the living God, infusing us with the grace necessary to overcome the spiritual erosion he foresaw. Penance and sacrifice. Padre Pio consistently lived and taught the importance of small acts of self-denial and voluntary sacrifice. He understood that penance, offered with love and humility, purifies the soul, strengthens the will, and helps us detach from worldly attachments that can lead us astray. These seemingly small acts cultivate discipline, foster virtue, and align our will more perfectly with God's. They are antidotes to the rampant materialism and self-indulgence of our age. Unwavering love for God and neighbor. Above all else, Padre Pio lived and taught the foundational command of Christian life: profound love for God and genuine charity towards our neighbor. He understood that these are the ultimate antidotes to the apathy, division, and hostility that would plague humanity. Love, born of faith, is the force that counters spiritual coldness, fosters true community, and builds up the kingdom of God, even amidst a crumbling world. His message, therefore, is crystal clear and profoundly practical. The most effective answer to the spiritual erosion threatening to engulf our modern world is a radical return to the very fundamentals of our Catholic faith, not as mere traditions, but lived with authentic, fervent commitment and unwavering trust in God's infinite mercy. It is in our daily choices, in our relentless pursuit of holiness, and in our courageous willingness to be light in the gathering darkness, that we actively fulfill our essential part in countering the very challenges and spiritual dangers Padre Pio so acutely foresaw. Padre Pio's hidden prophecy is not meant to paralyze us with overwhelming fear or to induce despair in the face of daunting global challenges. On the contrary, its profound purpose is to awaken us, to ignite within us a renewed sense of urgency and purpose in our spiritual lives. It serves as a powerful, timeless reminder that we are not passive bystanders in this profound spiritual battle for the souls of men and women. We are active, indispensable participants, and every single one of our choices, however small they may seem, possesses eternal significance. Are you, then, ready to truly heed his urgent message? Are you prepared to deepen your prayer life, to embrace the sacraments with greater fervor, and to live your Catholic faith with an invigorated sense of purpose and commitment? The world, in its deepest spiritual hunger and confusion, needs saints now more than ever before. It needs souls alight with God's grace, courage, and truth. And perhaps, Padre Pio's most profound and inspiring prophecy for our generation is this: that you, through the immense power of God's grace, have the boundless potential to be one of them. What are your personal thoughts on Padre Pio's insights into the spiritual landscape of our modern world? How do his warnings resonate with your own experiences? Share your reflections and insights in the comments below, fostering a community of faith and discernment. And if this powerful message has resonated deeply within your heart, please consider liking this video, sharing it widely with someone who desperately needs to hear its truth, and subscribing to our channel for more enriching content that illuminates the path of faith in today's complex and challenging world.